everyone, this is Katrina and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be showing you what I did during week 3 of my winter quarter. I first started my day off by going to my research lab. I'm a student researcher in 2 different labs, and this first one is a wet lab in the molecular medical pharmacology unit. It mainly focuses on cancer and immunology research. Afterwards, I went to my second lab, which is in the cognitive psychology department. I also was really happy because I got a cute new bunny sweater. My second lab focuses on curiosity, memory, and learning. This is a dry lab, so it mainly deals with data collection, where I conduct studies on participants, which are typically other UCLA students. I conducted my studies for about 3 hours, and afterwards my day was done, so I cleaned up and I headed to Westwood for errands. Once I finished picking up my packages, I headed back to campus to study in my dorm. For dinner, my friend and I got some Thai food, and then later, as a sweet treat, we went to Westwood to get some matcha. The next day, I didn't have any labs, so I went to my classes instead. I wanted to dress comfy since it was really cloudy that day. For lunch, I got ronde and reviewed some of my lectures, and then later after classes, I went to Westwood to go to Ulta. I was trying to find a new blush, as you can see on my hands. Afterwards, I headed to my dorm to study until nighttime. I also had a little art break while reviewing the lectures. I was supposed to go to Epic for dinner, but the lines were super long. But it all worked out because I got a super yummy tempura bowl and I got to watch Epic the musical. The next day I had some lab and classes again, so I got up pretty early. I also got to join my roommate to lunch, and it was super fun.
I have lab.
After my classes and lab, I headed over to my best friend's apartment to hang out. The next day, I went to both of my labs again. I typically spend about at least 10 hours a week in each lab. In the evening, I had a physics discussion. And I was super excited because after class, my club called A3 Clinic was having their very first general meeting, and I was going to host it with my friends. I'm honestly so proud how big this club has grown, and I'm so lucky to have such an amazing team and to meet such wonderful people. After the meeting, I saw that there was a cute concert, so I stayed to listen a bit, and then afterwards I headed to dinner. The next day was Friday, and I was so excited for the weekend. And to reward myself for working so hard this week, I DoorDashed some Starbucks. After breakfast, I headed to lab to have a long day of experiments. Typically in lab, I usually do ultrasound tumor analysis on mice, but I was super excited because I was learning a new protocol where I prepped the blood samples for cell counting and flow cytometry. Basically, what I did in the lab that day was I lysed humanized mouse blood samples to prepare for the flow cytometry and to analyze the amount of dendritic cells and to see how effective the cancer treatment was. What I did first was add ACK to lyse the blood sample and to remove any red blood cells while preserving the white blood cells. And then afterwards, I added PBS, wash away any residuals. Afterwards, I had to centrifuge and aspirate the sample. And I repeated this 3 times. After the procedure was completed, we did some cell counting and I did some analysis on the data. I was in lab for about 4 hours, and once I was done, I headed to Westwood for Chipotle for lunch. Afterwards, I headed to my dorm to take a long break, and then once it was night, I ordered udon for dinner and I went to the blue room to have a long study session. The Since I was in lab all day, I needed to catch up on my lectures. So I finished around 1 a.m. and I headed back to my dorm to get ready for bed. The next day, I woke up early to do some laundry and get B plate for lunch. Afterwards, I got ready and then I went to campus to study for a bit and get pho for dinner. I have midterms the next week, so I went to study again on campus, and that's why all my study sessions are super long. I also couldn't forget to get my daily matcha, so I went to Kirchhoff to get a drink. I first went to Powell to study for a bit until they closed, and then afterwards I headed to upstairs, which is above Kirchhoff, to study for the rest of the night. I studied until it closed, so then I headed back to the dorm, but unfortunately it started raining a lot. I studied more into the night, but then later I got hungry again, so I wanted to get a late night snack. I ended up going to the food truck for waffles, and it was super yummy. And then I studied until late into the night, and I lost track of time, so I went to bed really late. The next day it was rainy and cloudy again, but I didn't really mind. For lunch I got B plate again, and then I was super excited because I was going to a cafe to study with some friends.
Raining around like, oh, it's like a cozy coffee shop.
I got hungry midway through our study session, so we went to Ralph's to get a quick snack. And then I also had to get my daily matcha again.
Activity.
Afterwards, we headed
In
back to
my
my friend's
opinion.
apartment since the cafe was closed.
Yeah.
And then it was a
No, it's
long
really
walk from there.
Doesn't it feel like it goes like over there?
Maybe. No, it's not. I know it's straight ahead. I just need to learn to like walk more.
At the apartment, I had another study session, but I made sure to take some breaks, and it was super fun because I got to have dinner and play the piano with my friends. After dinner, I headed back to my dorm, but it was raining really hard, so I had to Uber back. Well, that was everything I did during week 3, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!